Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Purple and a Rose Tarot and Astrology. Tonight, I'm going to be reading for the Twin Flame Collective, and I am looking at the month of February 2025. Guys, please remember we are multi streaming, so we are on 3 different platforms at the same time. We should be on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok tonight. So if you're coming in, welcome. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the current astrology. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the moon phases for the month of February. And then I'm going to talk to you about some mental health and self care matters that I think could be really useful in the month of February. So I see everybody is starting to come in. Welcome, welcome. All right, let me get to my notes and I'm just going to go ahead and get started while everybody is joining us. I did talk about the February transits already this past Sunday. So if you guys missed that, you can find that over on my YouTube channel. And I do recommend it because I'm just going to kind of briefly go over the new moon and the full moon for February. Sandra comes in, picture check. Do we have sound, ladies? Let me know. Vanessa is with us. Amanda is with us. Welcome, welcome, everyone. All right, I'm just gonna check on TikTok real quick, guys. I still don't have a moderator over there just yet, but again, we still don't really know what is happening with the a state of the TikTok world, right? So if you guys are joining us over there, welcome. If you'd like to join the chat, please remember we do have moderators over on YouTube and Facebook. I remember when I first started this multi-streaming thing Spirit told me to do, and people were like, Rosa, that's so silly. You're not going to get people to go from one platform to another. And I've been proving them wrong for 4 years. So, yay. All right, guys, let's get started with the lunar phases. That's what I'm going to focus on because, again, we already went over all of the transits for February. I touched on the hot date. So, again, if you missed that, we did that on Sunday night. February 12th, that's going to be the Leo full moon. That Leo full moon is going to come in and very passionate, fiery full moon. It's going to be about embracing your authenticity, celebrating your achievements, and releasing anything, of course, that is holding you back from shining brightly. Because that is the Leo energy, wants to be center stage, right? And then we have on the 27th, we have the full moon in Pisces. This energy is going to be, I'm sorry, new moon in Pisces. It's going to be introspective energy. It's emotional healing energy. It's about setting intentions, learning about your inner truths, that type of thing. Again, we touched on all of this on Sunday. So the reason I'm bringing it up again is because together, the full moon and the new moon on the 12th and 27th definitely could bring a little bit of like a power struggle this particular month. And that really kind of correlates with what we're experiencing out in the world, right? So I'm definitely noticing that like the astrology reflects what we're experiencing in our everyday lives. So I do feel that the contrasting energy is going to cause us some emotional sensitivity and maybe even some self-awareness. So I want to talk to you guys about self-care and mental health. And I'm going to talk to you about how I stretched that far, right? So what I did was I was looking to set up the live and what we were going to talk about and whatnot. And one of the things I looked into was the top 5 things that really just have us emotionally unbalanced, right? Maybe a little excess stress in these areas. Top 5, and guys, I'm in the US, so I did focus on the US, but this is definitely, it's worldwide, right? But top 5 stressors, are you guys ready? Economic pressure, healthcare cost and access. I find that one interesting. I just seen someone post on my Facebook that she wasn't feeling well and is having trouble getting insurance. Um, Political polarization and uncertainty. Climate change, natural disasters, number 4. And number 5 was workplace stress and job security. Do those ring true to you guys? Let me know. So I picked political polarization and uncertainty because that's definitely where I'm stuck, right? So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that and why mental health is going to be important at this time. So Michelle says, I would agree with all of the above. All right. So right now, I'm live streaming. It's January 30th, 2025. Again, we are looking at the month of February, but we do need to take the current energy into account. And I feel like right now, the importance of mental health is going to be clearer than probably ever before. So many of us are dealing with mix of political problems, social issues, global challenges that can definitely affect how we feel and think. So before the collective reading, I want to discuss why mental health is more important right now, and especially in the light of the current political climate. And of course, the fears that we could be experiencing at this time. I'm actually going to offer some simple steps that you can take to improve your mental health and practice self care. I did share some of this information on your screen. So if you guys want to screenshot that, or jot it down in your journal, definitely could be helpful later on, right? All right, so right now, again, I'm focusing on the US because this is where I'm at, guys. I know that we have viewers all over the world. I think that's the coolest thing ever. But I live here. I'm currently in Illinois. And right now, the US politics is definitely very divided. There's ongoing arguments about healthcare, immigration, um, climate change, just to say the least. But it's leaving everyone feeling overwhelmed. And there's this constant flow of negative news that can increase our stress and anxiety, making it hard for us to feel secure and balanced at this time. The chaotic environment makes focusing on mental health more important than ever before because we're all seeking stability and peace of mind. Does that make sense? So right now, fear is a big part of life for many of us because really, I know I'm talking about the US, but again, this is globally, but we're all kind of worried about pretty much the main things. Job security being one of those. So many of us anxious about losing our jobs or inflation, how we're going to be able to pay for things. The social unrest, the increased tension around like civil rights, social justice issues has many of us feeling uneasy on both sides of all the aisles, right? Global challenges, worries about the climate change, the different weird ass storms that we're having, the international conflicts, the fear of war, all of this stuff can lead to higher levels of stress and mental health problems. And this is why it's going to be essential that we address this issue right now. So, raising awareness about mental health is going to be crucial because for a few different reasons, but I feel like the first and biggest reason is going to be like reducing the stigma because talking openly about mental health can help eliminate the shame that some people feel when it's time for them to seek help. It's like they'll just hide it and hoard it inside. And not tell anyone and then just implode, right? Education is going to be another reason. So, learning about mental health helps people recognize when they themselves or someone that is around them may need support. And then, of course, community support could be another great reason. Creating a community where people care for each other can make it easier for individuals to get the help that they need. All right, so here are some simple steps that anyone can take to support their mental health, whether you understand what's happening in your awakening or not, right? Practicing mindfulness. So, activities like meditation and yoga can help calm your mind and reduce anxiety. I have very recently gotten back into my yoga routine, and it's so interesting to me how I put something off. And then the moment I get back in the routine, I feel great, right? Like I feel so good. And it's like, man, why did I put this off for so long, right? I'm meditating now more than ever before. Guys, we make meditation entirely too challenging. People will tell you you're not supposed to think. People will tell you you're supposed to quiet your mind. And I mean, you're supposed to calm your mind, but you can't meditate and quiet your mind. One is the same. One, they go together, right? So it's like you can't have one without the other. But it's more about being mindful about what your thoughts are. It's about letting thoughts come in and allowing those thoughts to go if they're not serving like whatever your greater good is in that moment. Michelle brings up breath work, and long walks are my way of being present. I love that. Those are perfect examples of practicing mindfulness. All right. Seeking help, I put for number two. Talking to a therapist or a counselor can provide guidance and a safe space to express feelings. A safe space is going to be so important. I can't express that enough. I feel like I didn't realize how important my environment was, really until I got to sisters, right? It's like before that, um, I just kind of let anything go. And I need to take some accountability there because I made a post about how, like, it's no one's responsibility to keep me in a high vibrational energy except for myself. And that doesn't matter. I need to be able to learn how to do that regardless of what environment I'm in, regardless of who's around me, what's around me. That's what's going to make me strong. If I'm only strong, I don't know, in the house by myself, and then I can't function outside in society, well, then how strong am I really, right? So safe space going to be super important. That's where you're going to start to get strong. That's where you're going to work on your mind, your body, your health, all of those things so that you can go back out into the world, right? Safe space. Establish a routine. Having a regular daily schedule can help create a sense of normalcy in uncertain times. I know that's hard. I know that it's easier than, said than done type of situation. But again, one of those things that every time I do it, I'm like, man, I wish I'd have done this sooner, right? I hope this information is helpful, guys. I just want us to be able to talk about it more often and not so much. Are you guys ready? Not so much for the divine feminine, because we're very comfortable with all of this energy, but more so for the divine masculine. I know. All right, so here's some steps to focus on self care. Number one, stay active. Regular exercise can improve your mood and help reduce anxiety and depression. I remember when my counterpart energy catalyst person that woke me, um, my woker, I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of name. I'm so tired of these labels, right? But I remember when he said that you can't just lay down, you can't sit still. You actually have to get up and keep moving forward. I was talking to him about how important self care was, and I was taking care of myself, and I wasn't in a big hurry to, do a whole bunch of anything. And he was like, no, that's how you die. Like, you need to get moving and stay active. Regular exercise is very important. Staying active is very important. But guess what I've learned in this whole process? I'm just as much right as he is. It's actually both. It needs to be very balanced. You need to be active just as much as you need to meditate and sit within your feelings, right? Number two, I put eat well. A balanced diet can support your mental well being and give you the energy you need. Sister is teaching me how to eat better. I feel like I had a couple people try to show me, about like fruits and vegetables and these types of things, but they were still eating like out of the can, right? Sister has taught me the importance of like fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, and all of that kind of stuff. I had this smoothie today. It was green, like I don't know. It was green. That's enough description, right? And you would think like, ooh, who's gonna drink that? It was the most amazing drink I've had in quite some time. I think she said there was like spinach and kale, and I want to say I tasted a little kiwi in it. I don't know, but it was absolutely delicious. So balanced diet is definitely going to be key for mental well-being. Connecting with others is also going to be important. Spending time with friends and family can help you feel supported and less alone. Guys, not all of us have the ability to spend time with friends and family. Some of us are being called to limit who has access to our energy, including friends and family, right? Especially those of us having this type of spiritual awakening journey at this current moment. So I find that finding like minds is going to be key as well. And honestly, finding like minds right now could be challenging just because everyone is so divided. And here's my suggestion, because people have actually asked me, Rosa, what's an example? What's something I should do? Are you ready? do something of service. Go offer your time. Whoever you find in that area, and I don't, like, an example would be like, go help out a shelter, an animal shelter. Whoever is there is going to enjoy the same types of things or think the same type of way, or maybe even experiencing the same types of things that you're experiencing right now, right? So, like minds is very, very important. All right, the last thing I have, and I think probably the most important, is going to be limit news exposure. Limit your news exposure. Taking breaks from the news and social media can actually help reduce feelings of stress and overwhelm. I'm actually just learning this. I was that person that, like, I'm the Aries, and I'm like, I can take it all. I can take it all in. I process it just fine. It's totally good. I don't get overwhelmed. Fibs. Those are all fibs. So I had to learn, and I think TikTok was my main teacher, the importance of moderation. I'm not saying that spirits like Rosa, you can't get on TikTok. That's really where I get my news, to be perfectly honest. I feel like that's about to change, sadly. But we still need to in moderation, right? And in moderation, it's going to be key. I learned what doom scrolling was in the month of January 2025. So just pointing that out. All right. So understanding the importance of mental health today is going to be vital, and especially as we deal with the political issues and the global uncertainties. Taking care of our mental well-being is going to be essential for both individuals and communities. And I think raising awareness and taking simple steps towards better mental health and self-care, we can build a resilience that's going to be super important as we go into the times ahead, right? All right, guys, I hope all of that information was helpful. And I am going to clear the screen. And we should have a picture. Amanda says, I can hear you better when I see your face. That's so interesting because I'm using the same mic. Super weird though. My sister was just saying, I do need a better mic. I'm gonna get one eventually, guys. I'm gonna get one. I keep telling Spirit, I mean, at any moment, I'm ready. Release the floodgates. All right, guys. To our February collective. So I've pulled out the Black Moon astrology cards. Guys, Lilith is huge in the month of February. We really didn't talk enough about her. We're going to start talking more about the dark feminine energy. And I know the labels, I know, believe me. But it's important. And so we're going to start talking more about it. So I decided to use the Black Moon Oracle cards for February's reading. And I'm going to start with the masculine energy first. We have the Sun card coming out in Spirit. We have Saturn. We have Boy of Horseman. We have second house owning. I was just making jokes about how Spirit can go ahead and release those floodgates. There's something about the Spirit, the essence of divine masculine. Right now, the masculine energy all around the world is very much, it feels, and again, guys, remember, I'm not like some guru. Like, I'm on this journey. I'm 45 years old. My name is Rosa. Like, this happened to me, right? That's why we do PLR. Um, it feels like the masculine energy is a little divided in Remember, masculine energy is the protect and provide energy. So right now, masculine energy is being really drawn to finances, financial situations, financial abundance, the idea of financial abundance. Here's what I'm going to say. Spirit doesn't tell me, Rosa, money's bad. Money is a tool, just like the tarot cards, right? Um, Money is a frequency. It's something you can align to. Again, just like the tarot cards. Because everything has a frequency. But right now, there's this energy with the masculine about their inner essence. Yes, it's the masculine's energy and focus and drive to protect and provide, but at what cost? But at what cost? For divine feminine, it's also number one. For divine feminine, we have Saturn truth coming out. Um, Saturn is big in 2025, guys. It's gonna be um an Aries. Saturn is father time, it's divine timing, and in the fiery sign of Aries, it is like, remember, Aries is burn it to the ground, right? We're the ones with the torch. Um, and Saturn is like the rule maker. It's authority. It's um it's just time. It's just time. And the truth card, it says truth. And it's because I feel that um most likely divine feminine, it's weird because again, it's what's happening in the world, collectively. But it's like you're seeing the truth about something. And I think it's about yourself. I'm going to share something kind of personal, slightly vulnerable, um, about my own journey. So I definitely resonate with divine feminine energy. And I feel like since the summer of 23, we had a Venus retrograde that really kicked me into that feminine energy. And it was like I was asked to hold that energy. In other words, what I mean by that is like every time I detoured or every time I went into my masculine energy, or I was like protecting and providing, you know what I'm saying? Then it was like I would be ripped out, like dragged back, right? And it was just forced alignment over and over and over until I finally just sat and said, okay. Um, I feel that I created PLR 4 years ago, thinking that PLR was going to help me heal, like my online journey, my online journal, right? Hi, Tim. So I created this thinking that that's why spirit was telling me to do this, right? It really wasn't until January of 2025 that I learned why we created PLR. And I'm going to give you just a short backstory. Um, in 2020, I was in church trying to find God, right? I was having my spiritual awakening. I didn't know what was happening. I was scared. And I was just like, God save me. So I was going to church. And our church where I went to in this little town, they had this thing, they call it Tres Dias, and it's a like a religious retreat that the locals, in all the towns around us go to. It's a beautiful place. It was a beautiful experience. I learned so much stuff there. Um, of course, I, have grown out of the church box since then. But in that period, we couldn't have phones. We couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't smoke, and I was smoking cigarettes back then. Let me tell you, I almost had a fit about a cigarette more than I did about a phone. I'm just saying. I'm so glad I don't smoke anymore. But anyway, and that's not actually why I quit smoking. I went back to smoking because, silly me. But anyway, so I had that retreat. And when I came out of the retreat, I was actually at this job where I was, really looking forward to getting this job. It was what I call my first adult job. It came with like, paid time off and insurance and, adult things. And so I was really excited about this job. And when I came out of the retreat, the whole country was shut down. The whole world was shut down. And I didn't know because I was off at that retreat with God and Jesus, right? And I know without a doubt that had I had to go to work after they shut the country down and said, wear masks, don't let people touch you. I worked at the garden center. I helped little old ladies who touched my arm and shoulder and hand all day, every day. I would have been terrified. My fear and anxiety, my mental health would have been nothing, right? I was so grateful for that time. And this month, here we are, January 30th, I learned that the reason I keep spinning over here going, what am I doing? What's the next move? Why am I doing this? You guys don't know how many times I've wanted to quit, honestly. Um, it's embarrassing sometimes, right? Like, you don't want people to know you cry, or you don't want people to know this happened to you. You know what I'm saying? It's hard sometimes. It's hard when I have to go back to this town and see people, right? So to know that Spirit asked me to do this, and this whole time I was just supposed to build the foundation, which we did very, very well. And now that Saturn showing us all these truths, Pluto ending an era, bringing all the death and rebirth. It makes so much sense now. Why we created this foundation, this PLR. And I do feel that the focus is going to be our mental health. And that's for both masculine and feminine. But for divine feminine, here's the truth that you're seeing. Are you ready? This one is going to rock you a little too. We're the darkness. That's right. We are the darkness. If you study duality, if you study the masculine and the feminine energy, the masculine is the light. The feminine is the dark. And I'm not trying to knock the masculine energy at all. Tim, I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. But I heard someone say the light is why we're in the state that we're in right now. And the darkness, the feminine energy that's been pushing through all the hiccups, all the BS, dragged by her ankles, screaming, kicking, wondering what the bleep is going on. The feminine energy with that darkness, that's what's going to save us. That's what's going to pick us up off our asses. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I think it's funny we argue about I'm right, you're wrong, or you're wrong, I'm right, all this shit. It's like, what if we're all wrong? What if we're all wrong? Wouldn't that be something? Look at that. Twin flames coming out. Three of Pentacles, which actually is a magic crystal card. The masculine energy wants to work together. Three of Pentacles is teamwork. It's I respect you. We have the same goal. We have stability, harmony, flow. I do feel like it's trying to come out in reverse. And we also have the Ace, Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Divine masculine could feel like they're kind of sucked into this whirlwind. I see like this fire flame, like a tunnel. Um, but I do feel that the stability card and the earth card coming out in reverse is like they could feel like something's taking them away, or it's like it's so much at one time. They could be having a hard time grounding. Guys, remember, we recently learned, because again, Rosa does not know everything and we just learn as we go, right? We recently learned that grounding is not just going out barefoot, it's not just laying on the ground, it's not just hugging trees, which all of these things are beautiful and we should do them and connect with nature at all times. But sometimes when spirit tells us to ground, he's telling us to bring something we've received from the 5D, through the third eye, through a download, whatever label you need to put there, and actually implement it into your everyday life, into the ground, into the earth, right? Grounding. I feel like divine masculine is struggling with grounding, with implementing what they know, because they could feel like everything is just coming at them so quickly. All right, let's look at the Saturn truth card for divine feminine. Notice I have not even touched that bridging energy because it's got me nervous. It's the void of course moon. It says missing. We'll talk about it in just a moment. Let's focus on the feminine Saturn truth. Let's get some confirmation of what truths you're finding. Confirmation of your truths. The control tactics comes out. I've been getting in all kinds of trouble for that. But I've also been seeing how some of our, what we think is like, I don't know, a flaw or something that we do is bad is actually more of like a superpower. I was talking to Michelle about that. I was like, you know, I find every time I try to describe things, it's like I struggle to find the words sometimes. When spirit shows me something, it's like a feeling, right? I get an energy, I get a feeling, and it's like I have to put words to that. And I mean, sometimes I get a message, but if I was to say that message like I got it, I mean, white padded rim, right? So it's like I have to find a way to relay that message in a, normal human way. I don't know. But see, here we go. Same perfect example. But it's like I was saying something to Michelle, and she kind of just like, told me exactly how I was feeling, but it's like she uses all the right words. She's a writer, of course, right? So it's like she uses all the right words. And I was telling her, I was like, I struggle to find the right words sometimes. And she said, yeah, but you have a really good way of talking and getting people to understand what you're saying. And I was like, I think that's really funny because I've been talking and getting in trouble for talking like my whole life, like since kindergarten, day one, right? And wouldn't it be funny if, that is my superpower, right? Third eye clarity comes out, and then we have feint, detours, divine intervention. And remember, I said that Saturn was divine timing. So it is this energy of some type of download that you're receiving, which most likely, I just want to point out, it is a little bit of a darker card. Some type of download you're receiving could be causing you a little bit of like shock tower moment. I know it did me because I'm so much about, remember when I first started, Spirit was like, stay in the light, Rosa, stay in the light, Rosa. Okay, here's what I know. You can be too far in the dark, um, and you're out slaughtering, right? And you can be too far in the light and you're in full-blown psychosis, right? These are two like one here, one there. So it's like you need to find the middle. That's going to be, the important part here. But I do feel that for divine feminine, we've neglected our shadow side or our darker energy for so long because we put such a crappy label on it. And I find that weird that we would do something like that and then not be able to access that energy, to do things like protect ourselves or make ourselves stronger or create the life that we want to experience and live. I find it really interesting that we've put these labels on these things and kind of shunned it and been like, oh no, don't look at that, don't do that. But that's actually what like keeps us alive and makes us, the badass women that we are every day. I find it super interesting. All right, so void of course moon missing is going to be the bridging energy. Let me talk to you a little bit about what void of course moon is. A void of course moon is the moon right before, it's like when it leaves a sign, but it hasn't quite made it into the next sign. So there's like this gap. There's like a few hours. I want to say, I don't even know how long it is, but it's never, but I want to say like, I don't know. Let's say example 12 hours, right? And it's like it takes this long for it to get back into this sign. So it may be going I don't know, from Gemini to Cancer, right? But there's always a void of course moon between each sign. So between each sign, it's going to have this gap that it hasn't quite made it to the next sign. And the point of that is that it is supposed to represent that something is completely lack, completely missing. The point is that it's leaving the past energy. So let's say it's going from Gemini to Cancer. It's leaving that Gemini energy. It cannot take it with it as it starts the Cancer lunar phase. Does that make sense? So it has to have this like period of rest, period of cleansing, period of purification, period of whatever. Something could be missing. We could have tried to like skip over a step is what I'm hearing. I don't know. It's like we tried to skip something. We missed something. We missed a step somewhere. All right, growth in summer comes out. So it could have happened around summertime. Transcendence and unity. I actually had an opportunity for union at summertime. It's pretty interesting. And last card is going to be Storm Unexpected. Something could have definitely happened to you last summer that could have brought a lot of internal growth, most definitely. I think for a lot of us, it taught us that union wasn't about another person, right? It was always something internal. But I think it's possible that February, we're going to experience some type of storm warning, expect the unexpected, tower moment, something. And it's going to have something to do with something that's currently missing, whether that's a step we didn't take, a lesson we didn't learn, or separation, right? Regret and repression is on the bottom. The masculine energy is fire sign, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The feminine energy is giving strong earth energy, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I'm going to start with masculine, and I'm going to look at head, heart, and higher self. So now I'm looking at masculine's thoughts, feelings, and higher self lesson. We have lunar eclipse, the change card coming out for the masculine headspace. Look at that. Black moon Lilith, big confirmation coming out in the heart space. This is going to be a message from divine feminine. And we have Pisces, I believe. Look at the divine masculine awakening. We have Scorpio, I transform on the bottom. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio. My counterpart energy, strong Scorpio, sun and rising. All right, I'm going to pull from the Midnight Magic Tarot. This is my newest tarot set Diana gifted me last month. I immediately fell in love. They are a little bit darker, so they're harder to see. But again, I'm starting to get a lot comfortable with that energy. All right, let's look at the lunar eclipse, the change energy. We have 5 of Cups, some type of loss. Black moon Lilith. Sorry. All right, we have 5 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, and Wheel of Fortune coming out for that eclipse change energy. There's been some upset, some loss, or some change that has to do with pentacles, money, financial independence. I don't think that's it. I think there had to be a sacrifice. Divine masculine sacrificed something for money. They could be learning some hard lessons about financial independence. Whatever it is, though, it's getting them unstuck. So it may be challenging, but it's definitely giving like for the greater good. All right, let's look at the heart space. Black Moon Lilith. I do believe that's going to be a message from Divine Feminine. Guys, please remember telepathy is not in the third eye. I know you hear people say that all the time, but Spirit told me right out the gate, it is from the heart chakra to the heart chakra. This is the heart space here. We have Black Moon Lilith, which is again about that darker feminine energy. And we have 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is exhaustion. It's I can't go any further. And I was just talking about that Black Moon energy. Remember I said it's what's going to get us up off our butt, right? The Black Moon energy, the feminine dark energy is what fires us up and keeps us moving. It's what allows us to persevere. That's 10 of Wands, persevere, right? You could be sending that energy to Divine Masculine if you're Divine Feminine. 6 of Cups, again, I just said that, but that's helping. You're helping, you're sending assistance. And 4 of Wands, firm foundation, financial security. It's the 11-11. So Divine Feminine definitely assisting Divine Masculine. It's funny how we do this and we don't even know that we're doing it, right? All right, let's look at Pisces, I believe. So we do have that Pisces new moon, February 27th. 2 of Swords, unstuck. 5 of Wands, challenging. 7 of Swords, disbelief. That's what happens. There's some really, really stuck energy over here, and it could have something to do with a loss, a sacrifice, money. And it's like something big happened. Something, okay, Pisces is 12th house. Pisces is the house of God, the house of spirit. It's like Spirit gives you something. Spirit gives Divine Masculine something. It helps them get unstuck. I mean, that could be anything. It could be clarity. It could be pentacles. But there's definitely this disbelief. Amethyst deceiver. I'm not feeling like you don't believe it because, I mean, you don't believe like, wow, this happened. I can't believe it. But 5 of Wands. So 5 of Wands is like, it's challenging and it's like a relief of this challenge. So it's like you believe it because it's relieving whatever the stress, whatever the tension, whatever it is that's going on. Queen of Cups is on the bottom. Queen of Cups is unconditional love, and it is my clue card for Divine Feminine. How we doing, guys? Sound still okay? We're still hanging in there. I'm going to look at Divine Feminine next. Head, heart, and higher self. We're going to pull some messages after that, and then I will pull some guidance. All right, so Divine Feminine in the headspace, what are you thinking? We have Sagittarius, I see. We have Pluto transformation coming in the heart space. So Divine Feminine, you're sending that darker energy to Divine Masculine to help him get up. because they've went through some death and transformation, big confirmation with that Pluto transformation card, and it is number 11. I'm seeing the 11s everywhere. You guys seeing all the 111s? And we have sixth house routine coming out for divine feminine. I was just talking about that. I was talking in the beginning about how it's becoming really important, that I have a daily routine. I also talked about that, and when we talked about mental health, and self-care, and how important it is to have a daily routine. Guys, the South Node is in Virgo, which means for the next year and a half, we're really going to pick up and focus on our health. And a year and a half from now, we're going to leave that energy confidently, knowing that we take good care of ourselves, right? Libra, I balance is on the bottom. All right, so I'm in a certain type of mood. And when I'm in a certain type of mood, I like to use the Tarot of the Sweet Twilight. This is me and Michelle's favorite tarot set. One of my OG sets. So let's start with what it is that you see, Divine Feminine. I feel like you finally see you. You finally see you, and you accept all sides of you. Star comes out. It's bright hope for the future. It's cleansing, a purification. I feel like I flipped one. I'm just trying to find it. Maybe not. We have the sun. That came out for masculine energy. And we have wands, 3 of wands. You see something in a different light, and it is bringing you joy and happiness. You are now ready to take action towards your future. I don't know if you guys watched Music and Tarot last night. It's actually still up because YouTube is doing this new thing where now I guess it's we get to share revenue. So we may get to leave it up, which is pretty interesting. So it's up, it's doing well. But I talked about how um I felt like I'd escaped the box. And, I'm not really going to go into it because, again, I talked about it in that live. But if you know, you know. And that's kind of what it feels like. The star, bright hope for the future, sunlight, yay, again, 3 of wands, action towards your future. It's like I have found the out. And I know people keep asking me, what did you do, Rosa? What did you? I promise, as soon as I can bottle it up, I will give it to you. But honestly, I feel like sometimes because I have this weird purpose, that spirit just kind of helps me a little. I'm being told that's not the case. Okay, but I feel like I get a little assistance along the way. But apparently, I need to take some credit for my own work. Um, but I do feel that I was able to see something this time around that I wasn't able to see before. And honestly, I think that's what got me out of the box. So, I mean, I guess until that happens to, to other people, you could potentially still be in the box. And what did I see? I saw that he was human. I saw that he was not this person that I had put on this pedestal. I saw that he would hurt me if I let him. I saw that it was never, ever, ever about the person, ever, ever. It was always, always about the purpose of awakening. And that got me out of the box. Thank God. All right, Pluto transformation in the heart space. So I do feel like that's coming from Divine Masculine, a message. We have the Empress coming out. We have the Devil card coming out. That's interesting. And we have the Tower. There are so many major arcanas. And again, I feel like this is not Divine Feminine. This is a message from Divine Masculine. I'm not saying Divine Feminine that your world is happy-go-lucky, but I'm saying compared to Divine Masculine energy, your energy is calmer. Your energy feels more comfortable in what it has learned because you started to implement what you've learned throughout your spiritual awakening. And divine masculine kept resisting, resisting, resisting. Or maybe they would start to implement and then they would revert and go back. So it's like now we've ran out of tries, right? Like now it's the time is here. So it's like now we're just kind of, remember how I used to say that I felt like spirit was dragging me by my ankle and I was kicking and screaming the whole way. I feel like now the divine feminine has surrendered and now it's the divine masculine that is kicking and screaming. And what I mean by that, because I know some of the divine masculines are watching and they're like, I'm not kicking and screaming, Rosa. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Every time you got to start over. That's what I mean by kicking and screaming, right? I don't just make this stuff up. Like the devil card in the tarot this week, Twilight, it talks, you can look up the meaning to the card and it talks about how he's sitting here just watching and looking, just waiting for you to mess up, right? So that this can happen. And remember, we have these energies internally. But I feel like I'll use myself as an example. I get to where I'm going good. I'm doing the things. I'm staying away from the things I'm supposed to stay away from. And then I don't know if it's like burnout. I don't know if it's lack of motivation, inspiration. I don't know. But it's like something happens and I fall off the wagon and gotta start over again. And the tower is in the tarot suite Twilight. This is not like tower moment, like, oh, this divine masculine didn't know that this was going to happen. This divine masculine knew that the devil was watching. This divine masculine knew that if they made this decision, something was going to happen because they're sitting in the tree far from the tower. Watching it happen. All right, divine feminine, 6th house routine. You're focused on your daily practices. You're focused on your mental health. You're focused on your self-care. Hanged Man comes out. The 6 of Swords comes out. The Hermit comes out. You've had to sacrifice something. You've had to learn something new. You've had to attain something new. You were guided by spirit, and it's, look, big confirmation, darker energy. It's the Hermit, dark night of the soul. How interesting, right? Pisces energy coming out strong. Knight of Swords is on the bottom. Knight of Swords talks about someone who rushes to tell someone something. It's like this information is so important, and the information is always about clarity, understanding, freedom. It's also my clue card for a breakup. The Star is Aquarius energy. The Tower is Mars. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. So I feel like we see a lot of Capricorn, a lot of Scorpio, a lot of Aries. Your opinion of me matters. It's going to be divine masculine to divine feminine. Help me comes out divine masculine to divine feminine. We are. I don't want to wait anymore. I'm grateful for our journey. This is going to be a higher self. In fact, I'm not saying they're not grateful, but I feel like divine masculine could be struggling with gratitude at this time. That's something that's normal. It's easy to, when we feel overwhelmed by all our problems and stresses, like it's hard to find the positive things, even if they're like, most of the time it's because they're so small, right? I want to work with you. That's that Three of Pentacles that we've seen. That's teamwork. It's about respecting each other and wanting to work together. And Divine Masculine could be feeling that energy as well, because I feel like Divine Feminine has been feeling that energy for quite some time, where it's like we're being asked to work together. I'm not saying that means you have to get together, you have to be together physically. It doesn't mean you have to get married. It doesn't mean you even have to talk to each other. I do believe that it's all spiritually, right? It's all energetically, but there is a synergy of being called together at this time. Again, you only have to look at the state of the world to see the whys to that, right? I was never mad though comes out, and just try it. This is a little bit of it's possible Divine Masculine. I don't know. It's a little like don't try it, right? And I feel like it's the energy of the feminine pulling away. All right, I need you to stay also came out. All Divine Masculine to Divine Feminine. I feel like we only have 2 higher self cards. These could all be 3D, which means it could be all things they've actually said before, think about saying, want to say, but haven't for whatever reason. All right, it has nothing to do with you. Ooh, this is a new one. Comes out for Divine Feminine to Divine Masculine. I'm ready. Let's go. I'm trying to send you a message in your dreams. Oh my goodness. Inside joke. Talk about it later. Keep pushing comes out. How are you so strong comes out. Keep pushing is going to be my favorite. I'm doing this to protect you. There's a lot of higher self messages coming from Divine Feminine to Divine Masculine. I love you. More higher self message. I love this one. You're good. You got the essentials. You got it. I actually talked about this card not too long ago. I talked about how I used to feel like I had to be in contact, or I had to be in good standings. We had to be getting along, right? In order for PLR to do well. I know, Lulu Lala, I understand. Anyway, um, but I kept like reaching out whenever I would come across some stumble or some, blockage or something. And he would always try to help and assist. And for the longest time, my biggest, supporter and encourager. Um, and then we reached this point. This is the June of 23 when I had what I think is Kundalini activation. Um, it was like he was upset because I was making um different choices, and he was like, it's fine. In other words, like, he was out, he was done, he felt like I had everything I need, I didn't need anything else. I remember like the exact statement was, if you're broke down on such and such road, and you can give me a call, but other than that, you have it under control, right? It's interesting that this comes out now, coming from Divine Feminine to Divine Masculine, because I do recently feel like whatever just happened to me in January, I do got it. I do very much got it by myself on my own, standing here in the wind, totally tolerant and standing strong. So I just find that super amazing. It's very possible that Divine Feminine is sending this energy back, because that's the energy that allowed Divine Feminine to persevere when Divine Feminine needed to, right? I see 911 everywhere. I do see 911 everywhere. I feel like I'm constantly being warned about my counterpart energy, especially when that person is going through something that is toxic or unhealthy. My mind replays all of our memories. I never expected any of this to happen. And last one I'm going to take is, this is what we came for. And I mean, it can't get any more direct than that, right? On the bottom, do your thing and I'll do mine. I do believe that that is what we're supposed to be doing at this time. All right, I'm going to pull Power of Love activation out because it is much needed. And this is what we're going to use for guidance. willingness. You're able to compromise if the end result is love. Humility. You've developed a loving awareness that you and everyone else are the same, but on different paths. And last one, freedom. Absolutely. You are releasing any self imposed restrictions or perceived limitations through the loving energy of openness. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to be your February 2025 update. I'm going to leave it right there. I hope that reading was helpful. I really hope that the information about mental health awareness and some self care tips at the beginning of the live were helpful. If you guys missed that, please go back and check that portion of the video out. I am going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. No free readings tonight, but thank you so much for coming in here and hanging out with me. My moderators, guys, make sure I'm coming back Sunday night. Sunday night is our night for free readings. I know we did a little music and tarot last night. It was a little special because we had that Aquarius new moon. But I'll be back on Sunday night. We'll talk about the astrology. I'll do a collective reading and we'll offer some free and paid mini readings then. Thank you so very much for coming in, everyone. Moderators, thank you for coming in. Tim, thank you for coming in and saying hello. It is nice to see you, and I'm glad that you're doing well. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm always, always sending all of you abundant love and light on your journey. Have a good night, everyone.